explain real quick, because Masan didn't know, maybe other people don't know. You can do loser's pick if everyone agrees to it. Just by standard default, it is vetoes. So I believe they both just did vetoes at the start. Of course, I don't speak Korean, and they were speaking that when they were doing the vetoes, so I don't actually know. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Rifkin. I'm here with Gary Oak-Robotron and our guest, Masan from Quantic. Cassie, for you, this is Game 3, potentially the last map we'll have to see. But spawning here in the top right corner, up 2-0 in this best of 5. Playing for Quantic, it's the Blue Zerg player, Hyun.
And in the top left-hand corner of the massive map Whirlwind, it is our red Terran player, possibly on his last stand of the tournament. It's Shuttle.
I am really curious. I mean, Whirlwind, we always joke, whether it's a mirror matchup or not, it really feels like Whirlwind maps tend to be the shortest maps we get to cast. There's been so few. It was like in Toon Valley back in the day. You always expect these massively long games, but that never seemed to be the case. But with both of these players, with the way the series has been played out so far, I would have to say, well, first we'll see Hyun check for proxies. But secondly,
Well, yeah.
this will probably go into the mid to late game.
It should. Unless, like, one of them's like, yeah, I'm just gonna cheese or whatever. Or I don't want to play on this map. Some Terrans do that. They're like, I don't want to play on Whirlwind, it's BS, so I'll just cheese the Zerg player and hope I win.
Well, Whirlwind has been in this map pool for, I think, longer than most other maps, actually. Like, I know Daybreak's been around for... Actually, I think Daybreak's been around longer than Whirlwind. But I believe
Yes,
for
it has.
ZOTAC, Whirlwind's been in the map pool longer than Daybreak. I don't know how or why that works, but someone had told me that. So maybe that's not a true fact, but that is something I was told, I think, a couple weeks ago. So I just always consider that a really weird thing when it comes to dealing with this map. But let's not talk about too much about the map. Shuttle, again, with the Command Center Barracks opener. Again,
Same build, same build, same build, same build.
yeah, and it really worries me. I mean, it's one of those things where, if your build doesn't work 2 times in a row versus a player, what are the chances it works on Game 3? I don't know. The openers, of course, they only depict so much. A lot of this comes down to the macro, and as we saw last game, the micro of the late
Yeah.
game.
Because, as they say, trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is like the clinical definition of insanity.
Well,
But
let's
I
not.
don't think that's quite the case here.
Well, I was gonna say, let's not forget Masan's here too. I want to keep him included because again, this is that awkward tri-cast. Like, I want to maybe pass it off, but Gary's talking. Like, I don't know. But all right, Masan, your thoughts on Whirlwind, please.
Well, luckily for Hyun, he did scout that the shuttle went for same build. However, Hyun already drew the pull down, so he can't quite go for the nice economic advantage with a tri hatch before pull. So it's gonna be a little more closer game than, well, it could be more closer game than we might think.
Well, do you think a lot of that has to do? I mean, in my eyes, the third base on Whirlwind is always a funky one to get because regardless of which one you take, it's still fairly exposed, not just to the drops but also the ground attacks. I've seen, I don't know, maybe it's different from, again, I only cast a certain amount of games a week, but I've seen so many Hellion run-bys just devastate people who go for that early third. Now, I'm not talking Hyun, it's Hyun, it could be a different story altogether, but Terran versus Zerg, third base early never seems to work out too well on this map.
Really?
Actually, I found it very easy to hold on to those Hellion run-bys because I know a lot of players think that, oh my god, there's a Hellions coming into my third, I have to defend my hatchery. But with due all respect, you don't really have to defend the hatchery, you just have to defend the mineral line. And by the time the Hellion comes into the mineral line and attacks the drone line, it's going to be get surrounded by links. So it's with the Hellion, it's relatively hard to harass. However, it's really easy for Terran to drop if the Hyun takes the third base between main and natural. I don't know how to describe that. Instead of the one that is far away, like instead
close
of
base.
taking one at the 9 o'clock, yeah, instead of taking one at the 3 o'clock base on this map and this position, if he took one at the 12:30-ish base, it can be very hard to defend against the drops just because the 2 dropships can go between main and third really easily.
Yeah, that little chasm there.
Shuttle's definitely someone who would take advantage of that. Now, one thing
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
actually curious about, Shuttle hasn't reached for Hellbats, which I find really intriguing because, well, you've got the community outcry, and that's whatever, because I think a lot of people just kind of see what other people say and glom onto that, but we've had a lot of Hellbat drops come out of our other Terrans leading up to this point. I just think it's kind of cool, well, cool in air quotes, that we haven't actually seen Shuttle go for that. Now, Hyun, he's good at shutting down these drops, but the one thing I do need to point out is he's never been one to get an early spine crawler in his natural. He's not paranoid enough to really do that. And maybe, just maybe, some sort, even if it's not a Hellbat, a 4 Hellion drop might be enough to catch him off guard. There's a lot of dead space in the main that goes unscouted, even with Overlords, unless they're perfectly spread.
Speaking of overlords, Hyun's overlord just spotted this third command center.
Yeah, but again, that's nothing too out of the ordinary. I mean, it's kind of a Terran meta at this point, much less
It
Shuttle.
just confirms his hunch. He's like, oh, okay, whatever.
I'm really surprised at
Giving the
Shuttle,
infestation
again.
Burrow and a macro hatch.
Double engineering bay, the way he builds the command center, he's going with the exact same build every single game. Now he's moving out with these Hellions. Can he do anything with them is the big question. Hyun, I mean, he's got these queens out. It's not the easiest thing to move across between these bases. I mean, he's got that giant ramp, but without the evolution chamber wall that we sometimes see, you could try and just run past everything, but...
He could.
Gonna pick off creep
Hyun's
chambers
going for a timing here, because he is going for that, and he doesn't have any Evo chambers. Infestation Pit and Burrow, so...
I love that he's going for Burrow again. I think that's really cool.
Yep. And he does scout the third base, and it's timing.
It's always sad watching Hellions attack a hatchery. Like, oh look, this base is completely undefended. Too bad we can do nothing about it with all this fire.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I set it on fire, it doesn't matter, it's
Yeah, you
fire
think the buildings won't do too well against the fires, but not in this case.
Well, unless it's a Terran building, because they actually burned down scumbag buildings. I mean,
and they're made of metal and they burn down, yet this like organic Zerg stuff doesn't burn down.
someone
It's
call
him.
sci-fi, please. Yeah. Alright, well, the
All
overlord
day
picked up.
him.
And instead of putting fire off, you just drill it to put the fire down.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, that's
just
weird.
punch the fire till it goes away. Logic, right? It's StarCraft. I don't know.
Dude, I punch fires in real life all the time.
Alright, well, there's actually a lot of Zerglings here, and those wood mines were, of course, recently used on the Overlord, so he's got to be a little careful. I mean, you can fight Zerglings on a ramp with Hellions pretty nicely, but if you can get them to run over top of one of those wood mines, that would be sick.
I think those guests are just for the show because he's going for nothing but links and infestors, and he hasn't made a drones in a while.
Timing.
Oh man, these Zerglings are about to take a big hit! Oh, but it hits the wrong side of the Zerglings!
Wow.
However, these Hellions should be, actually pretty decently trading with these Zerglings. Still gonna lose them, but man, has he picked off a lot of Zerglings for the cost of these Hellions. Might not even fully clean them up. Oh yeah, I see, well now he's got the surround off, but
Those were good. Those were pretty cost efficient.
those were damn good Hellions.
They were very cost efficient. Killed
When you're
58
going for-
What?
total.
We got
When
the
you're going for
infestors, they're gonna
something
get caught
for
by...
timing. That does a lot of damage. There's a turret there. That's
Yeah.
a good turret.
Hyun almost
Good.
walked right into the range of that. That's what I was freaking out about.
Yeah.
Shuttle stuck though on 2 base, classically going to be caught in that same situation, despite the fact the infestors are here and it's a different outcome. The reality is, you can only play 2 base Terran for so long. You can play 2 base Terran effectively, but there's a clock on that. The more mules you drop, the faster you mine out, and suddenly you find yourself just without any cash.
Yeah, mules are a double-edged sword. Not most people forget that.
You know,
Oh,
Marines-
is there going to be a scan? Oh no.
No,
For a
just a
second
clip
there
there
was going
for
to
it.
scan there.
Missile
Would've been
turret.
Like, wow, shuttle that good?
Yeah, well, you can of course see the burrow, but it's so difficult. It's not like Cloak. It's very difficult to spot.
It's way too like invisible. I feel sometimes.
It should be like Tremors. You just got like the ground shaking. You got everything
Your
coming out around it.
just shakes.
Kevin Bacon pops up out of nowhere. Guy! No. Getting out of hand there with that reference, but Widowmine's here, he's got to be careful. Like, can you imagine if there was a random scan right here? These Widowmines
Yeah.
would just ravage the infestors, but they are full energy, and Hyun, someone who's very patient, very methodical, will just wait for the perfect opportunity to...
Oh, no.
Ooh. Well, that was a fail mine hit on those infested Terrans. Actually, it was pretty good.
Well, lots of
That's a lot
infested
of infested
Terrans.
Terrans.
Might actually get this command center. No, it's got to float away right now. There we go.
Yeah, it's flying.
It's funny, the most dangerous things, like oracles, right? Infested Terrans, things like this, like, they're so scary, but they're so slow, you just walk away from them.
Yeah. Just walk the other way very slowly.
Pretty much, like,
Drop
Hellbats
them
too.
down to the third. Which is not noticed in that.
Yeah, the Queen goes
That was-
down immediately. But here come the infestors, and a good couple fungals will keep these Marines from loading out. And actually will pick a lot of them off. There we go, crumbling to the infestation that is fungal growth.
That
Actually,
fungus-
one Marine. One Marine lives
fungus
somehow.
attack. Oh, and he gets away.
I can't believe how many infestors are currently on the field, though. I mean, 16 is a little absurd. I don't know, like, nothing bad from having this. It's just weird to see in Heart of the Swarm.
That was a bit of an overzealous stim there by those Marines. To pick off that burrowed Zergling at the third.
Well, yeah, now on 4 bases. I mean, he's looking very comfortable. The big difference this game, though, is Shuttle has actually achieved a third with relative ease. It was a little annoying dealing with those infestors, but he knows what Hyun's tech is. I mean, you can only show your hand and say, like, look, I got 13 infestors on the field, deal with it.
I'd like to see him get ghosts, honestly. I'd really like to see ghosts here.
Man, ghosts have not been something too popular in CBT in a while.
I know, but when a Zerg player like makes a billion infestors, you make a bunch of ghosts, and all of a sudden the Zerg player starts crying when you like snipe all his infestors and EMP them.
Dropping the main, gonna get spotted immediately. He's got to gather before the fungal does hit one of the medevacs. He's got to unload. He's got to unload or he's gonna lose everything for free.
I might lose fourth base here though. It's not prepared for the push.
Yeah, I mean, Shuttle is great at drawing Hyun's attention one way to attack another, but the response might be enough. Widowmine hits going off like crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of mines. And he's going to reposition them too.
Oh, but
nice
fungling a lot of these mines before they murder. This is actually a really nice catch. More infested Terrans coming down, and Hyun should clean this up, but unfortunately does lose the hatchery. A couple drones going down with this, but not too many, luckily.
Looking at resources lost, Shuttle's been more cost efficient, and he's dropping the main, doing a lot of damage. Oh my god, he's targeting the hatch, or the hive.
Yeah, a lot of workers have been picked off through this. Meanwhile, this one Marauder at the third base location doing a ton of damage too. And I want to point a really cool move out of Hyun just now, despite all the panic that's going on. He dodged that scan with all of his infestors, knowing that he was going to
lose the hive. Is he? Oh, he's going to save it, maybe?
Might as well.
Oh, it's so close. Oh, that was so close. It's
100.
off, though.
Yeah, 200 health on this. I mean, he's got to start building another one somewhere else. It's just not going to be worth.
Oh no! I
banking
think
on
he
it.
thinks that those infestors.
Oh, the infestors! So many go down. Scan going to pick these off as well, and that's actually
And
a huge
this-
blunder.
Oh man.
Yeah, all that energy just gone to waste.
You know, last game we
Also
talked about.
noticed-
Oh, sorry, continue, son.
All right. Also noticed that Hyun during that drop, he just lost about 40 drones total. So he's not in really economical advantage anymore. In fact, he's really behind in income.
We did
52
have these.
was killed.
Yeah, we had these queens actually transfuse this hive, thank goodness, because Shuttle did go back in for round 2 and would have picked it off otherwise. Meanwhile, Widowmine's wishing for these infestors. Okay, get that fungal off. But again, what I was saying before that, small mistakes. Those infestors in the middle of the map not being broke, he lost about half of those infestors at that cost, where it really could have alternatively been none. It was just a lucky break that Shuttle was moving across the field, ran on top of them. If they were broke, I don't think he would have noticed them whatsoever. But Shuttle actually taking a very bold base with the Planetary Fortress very close to Hyun. But he's in a position where he can really afford to. Again, as Basan pointed out, the economy for Hyun, behind. No question about that. Losing that fourth base absolutely sucks.
That's usually what you want to do anyway. You want to expand close to the Zerg instead of far away, if you're Terran or Protoss. Planetary's good too.
These Widowmine hits, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of dirty.
That's
Just
really fungal.
they're just spread so nicely here out of Shuttle 2. So many Terran players, I feel, they make that mistake of just clumping all their Widowmines and hoping for the best, but spreading the Widowmines out, look at this, just everywhere, so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and he's just zoned out this fourth base now. And look at this, we got drop at the third now.
Yeah,
taking out a lot of drones.
Medevac goes down, but the Marines and the Marauders are more than enough to deal with this Queen, the only form of defense. Some infestors struggling to get back here. But again, Hyun taking such heavy losses. 62 workers have been picked off, 63 and rising.
Yeah, this is looking extremely good for Shuttle, and Hyun is counterattacking with infested Terrans.
But they do nothing. They don't even
shut
pick
down.
off a single building.
And those infestors took a lot of damage because of that turret there. That was a really good turret bunker Widowmine combo. Oh, whiffed scan. But he walks back into the scan.
Oh, what's happening? I was hoping the scan would wear off for Hyun, but it's not going to be the case. Hyun, though, taking a look at the army breakdown right now, guys. I mean, it's 8 infestors on the field, 9 Zerglings, 1 Baneling. What else does he really have? Shuttle is just looking so good. And Gary Oak, we have a Ghost Academy on the way.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Shuttle. You heard me. Through time and space.
I'm telling you, you can somehow, you've got this telepathic thing with these players. You just got to communicate to them. Like,
yeah,
but,
no kidding.
You know what? I would absolutely love. Oh man, Shuttle is actually going to push forward here with 2 more medevacs, and Hyun has nothing to really deal with this other than static defense for these buildings. How does this creep tumor spread creep to the spore crawler at the 4th base? That doesn't even make sense.
Because the creep was originally there, and I guess that's how the game's AI works. I don't know.
Like, it goes down to the bottom of the cavern and then comes back up on the other side to feed the spore crawler.
Nerf creep tumors, okay? Jeez.
For real, can we get a big nerf, please? But okay, Infestors, gonna drop a lot of infested Terrans on this planetary. I don't actually know if it'll be enough. If repairs go down, this planetary should still hold.
it should.
Meanwhile, oh, those
Yep.
Widowmine hits on those Zerglings in the middle. So very good. And then the
That was a
planetary,
good fungal. Look at that. Chain Fungal's right there. He's going to go for the third one. Gets it.
but loses the Infestor for the cause of it. Main base in the meantime, he wants that Hive. 61 health does fall at the same time. GG! Yeah! Shuttle bringing it back.
That was a really good game by Shuttle. Very well played. We're going into game 4.
I love the way Shuttle came back from that. Hyun,
Yeah.
I don't know, that many Infestors, that just screamed overconfidence to me. I don't know. Like, it's...
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the Infestors, it was the mistakes he made with the Infestors, I think, that cost him the game. Like, losing all those Infestors in the middle like that, it's like,
Not
yeah.
only that, he didn't have a static defense to defend against the drops back in home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey Zerg Master, can you explain the OP creep tumor to me? That that 4 days. That was ridiculous. But we have a game up if you want to join. I guess Hyun or however.